let's talk about one of the hardest, most gut-wrenching words to say, no. I mean, for so many of us, that one little word is just loaded with guilt, right? But what if we could totally flip that on its head? What if saying no wasn't about shutting someone down, but about respecting yourself? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into today. So let me ask you, and be honest with yourself. When you have to say no to someone, does your stomach just drop? Do you get that immediate wave of guilt, like, oh man, I'm a bad person for doing this? If you're nodding along right now, you are definitely not alone. But here's the good news. This explainer is designed to change that feeling for good. I'm telling you, by the time we're done here, you're going to have a totally new way of looking at this, plus a super simple toolkit to start setting boundaries with real confidence. So let's dive in. Okay, first things first. Where does all that guilt even come from? I mean, to really learn how to say no without feeling awful, we've got to understand why it feels so bad to begin with. And the answer might actually surprise you. So let's put a name to this thing: boundary guilt. And look, this guilt is not a sign that you're a bad friend or a selfish person. Not at all. It's actually a symptom, a pain point that comes from a deep-seated habit of trying to get everyone's approval. You know, we're basically taught our whole lives that our value comes from being helpful and always saying yes. So here's the big reframe. We have to stop thinking of boundaries as rude. They're not some giant wall you're building to keep people out. Think of it more like a fence you put up to protect your own backyard. Your energy, your time, your sanity. They aren't rude. They are absolutely 100% necessary for any healthy relationship, especially the one you have with yourself. All right, so understanding the why is a huge first step. But now let's get to the how. This is where it gets really practical. I'm going to give you 3 simple but incredibly powerful rules for saying no. This is it, your 3-step toolkit. And trust me, its power is all in its simplicity. It's easy to remember and even easier to use. So let's break down each one. Rule number 1 is the absolute foundation. No is a complete sentence. You don't need to add a 10-minute story explaining why. The second you start over-explaining or making up excuses, you're basically opening the door for a debate. A simple, calm, "I'm sorry, I can't" is all you need. It's clear, it's respectful, and it's final. No drama necessary. Okay, so what happens if they push back? Because some people will. This is where most of us just cave. But your strategy is so simple. You just repeat the exact same line in the exact same calm tone. You're not getting angry, you're not raising your voice, you're just being a calm, consistent, broken record. It sends a really clear signal that your decision isn't up for negotiation. And this brings us to the most important rule of all, the real goal here. Every single time you say no to something that drains you or that you just don't want to do, you are saying a huge yes to yourself. You have to remember this. Protecting your time isn't selfish. It is the single greatest act of self-respect. You're showing the world, and more importantly, you're showing yourself that you matter. When you really get down to it, this whole thing boils down to a choice. It's a choice you have to make in those tough moments. A choice between what feels easy right now and what's good for you in the long run. Let's really look at the 2 paths you can take. And here it is, laid out plain and simple. The people pleaser takes the path of least resistance in the moment. They say yes just to avoid that little bit of awkwardness, but it almost always leads to resentment and regret down the road. The confident person, they do the opposite. They're willing to handle that brief, temporary discomfort of saying no because they know the long-term payoff is lasting self-respect. Which path sounds better to you? Okay, let's bring this all home now with the single most important idea. Seriously, if you forget everything else we've talked about, please remember this. Just let that sink in for a second. We waste so much time and energy worrying if other people are going to be upset with our boundaries or if they'll accept our no. But you know what? We are completely focused on the wrong thing. Because here's the truth. Respect starts with you. It's an inside job. When you start consistently showing up for yourself, when you honor your own limits and say no with a calm confidence, you are literally teaching people how to treat you. Your own self-respect becomes the blueprint for how they respect you. So, let's make this real. I don't want you to just listen to this and then forget about it. Think right now. What is one thing? It can be small, it can be big, doesn't matter. What's one no that you need to say this week to get some of your time back and show yourself some respect? That, right there, that's your first step.